Think about the classic know-it-all character in fiction, someone who is brilliant, but early on, absolutely exhausting. She raises her hand before the question even finishes, solving the problem before anyone else gets a chance to try. The frustration her classmates feel has nothing to do with her being wrong. She is almost never wrong. When someone always has the answer, they short-circuit the process of discovery. The underlying problem vanishes, replaced by a conclusion everyone else simply has to accept. Socially, this creates a room full of learned helplessness. People simply stop trying to think through the puzzle because the answer is already inevitably on its way. You go from being an active participant in a shared challenge to feeling entirely unnecessary. You become a passive spectator in a conversation that was supposed to include you. When that happens, people go quiet. They stop engaging, and eventually they opt out entirely. This classroom dynamic has migrated into the software we use every hour. The same interpersonal friction is now embedded in our search bars and chat interfaces. We are scaling the Hermione problem into a global digital standard. By relying on generative AI for instant conclusions, we are replicating that social withdrawal on a technical level, removing the incentive for collective or individual thought. To see what we lose in that vacuum, we must look at what actually happens inside the brain when you solve a problem. Learning is an active transformation of the person doing the work, distinct from the simple act of data retrieval. This loop begins with curiosity, leading into the initial, frustrating friction of struggle. That friction is a prerequisite for insight, when the brain reorganizes information into a new pattern. The cycle then closes with a deep sense of relief. Compare that organic sequence to the hyper-efficient AI experience. You enter a prompt, and the entire arc collapses into a straight line from question directly to answer. You get the final output without going through the foundational experience of earning it. It is like being handed a completed jigsaw puzzle, technically finished but cognitively hollow. Getting answers faster feels like it should save us mental energy. Counterintuitively, it actually increases mental fatigue. Struggling through a problem builds a protective mental scaffold. You generate context, remember dead ends, and map pathways. The answer has a secure place to live. But when AI hands you an isolated fact, that supporting web dissolves. Now your brain has to perform a hidden, exhausting labor. Without context, you have to work significantly harder to evaluate, trust, and integrate a floating piece of information. This creates an ambient uncertainty. When a machine produces your conclusions, you are constantly drained by ambiguity. Do I actually know this, or did I just read it? Take that lingering ambiguity and scale it up across modern society and the daily workflow of millions of people. As identical, isolated answers pile up, we are risking a widespread condition of epistemic fragility. This happens when a population possesses an abundance of correct answers, but critically weak intellectual foundations. Without that foundation, you lose three vital capabilities. You cannot reconstruct the reasoning behind a decision, you cannot defend a position when challenged, and you cannot adapt your knowledge when conditions change. Underneath all those instant answers is a creeping existential dread. It is the realization that you are no longer actually thinking. You are merely curating machine outputs. The tool designed to support our thinking can, over time, displace the very cognitive habits it was meant to assist. We trade the effort of discovery for the convenience of an output. The ultimate value of asking a question is rarely the answer itself. The value is the cognitive transformation you undergo to find it. The struggle of discovery is not an inefficiency we need to solve. It is a process we have to actively